Almost forgot to record. All right, how about Randy? I haven't heard your voice. You there?
Chibanit akosis.
Yeah, Chobani Akosis. I went one further. I said Chobani Ui one Akosis just to have an extra
Right,
word.
yeah.
Yeah, but you're exactly right. Sticking that ak on there for Akosis, getting out of the water. All right. Oh, Stephen, would you mind giving the sentence on the left a read?
Um, negotiate, Chateau, Takon, Olegit Oaks.
Ah, hete mahi, that was perfect. Nogosi, jaro tafkon, othle giros. We got our oh, so what are we specifically saying?
On
Uh,
top of.
yeah, it's sitting on top of. Uh, jaro takon, jaro takon. It's a phrase I use for Boulder and I've seen used for Boulder. So the uh, the bear is sitting on the big, on top of, or not on top of, but sitting on, both legged, sitting on the boulder. All right. The second picture is gonna have same prefix, but the trip I have here is whether you've learned the dual or legida, remembering that Muskogee verbs often have different versions, whether it's singular, dual, or plural. So, can anyone give a stab at it? First, housefly, housefly. Estoy magechidoaf. How do you say housefly?
Jana.
Estoy ma, huh?
Jana.
Jana, Jana. So we're gonna start with, I'll write it out. We have Jana, but we're talking specifically about we want to be specific because there's no way you'll sometimes hear people say Janas. They'll stick that English S sometimes on nouns to pluralize. It sounds funky every time I hear it. Uh, but we don't do that. Instead, we're either specific about it, which will be here. I'll say Jana Pokolet. So two flies, uh, but they're sitting on top of. What are they sitting on top of? What do you see? Nugget, hijakja,
Taklegi
dock leggy. And if we look
or
at
taklegin.
dock legging, what can we piece together from that? When we break it up and we see that prefix there, what does it kind of feel like we're saying?
Something that's on the ground. On the
Yeah,
floor.
uh, one of the speakers, Miss Melissa, she talked about how it was like they looked at the bread being made and they said, well, it's sitting down in there. It's sitting down in the fire. Uh, so they call it daklegging, the thing that's sitting down there cooking. Uh, and I thought when I saw the dock, it kind of changed dakleggy. Every time I saw it, I saw dock, 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 dock. Uh, but daklegging. What is our word or our duplicate plural for to sit? It is gagera, gagera. Oh yeah, Randy, I see that hand raised.
Well, I was going to say okagi,
Yeah,
okagis.
you got it, you got it. Uh, but for those of you that haven't had a chance to learn it, um, it's at the beginning of the Green Book, the Green Dictionary. There's a chart with some of the verbs going from singular, duplicate, plural, and triplicate. Uh, there's other there's other resources. Tad's website, Nogosioplani, is amazing for if you want to go to one place and see all of the different plurals. But Randy was right. Oh my gosh. Manhayatcha. Is that your baby's room, Tad?
Mvskoke. If you don't have it on the slideshow, I wanted to ask about crib. If you're laying a baby down in a crib that looks like that, would that be tak, or ak, or?
Is it enclosed? Was there a roof on there that I saw?
No
Or would
roof,
that-
but it looks it feels enclosed to me.
Yeah, Joe and Ella, can you see in chat the chat thing? There's a crib. Would you use, if you, like Tad is saying, if you were laying that child in there, would you use duck because it's in that crib?
I wouldn't put a lid on that baby, on that crib. I would just say, oh, what we just, or put it on the baby's, or what gives it up. I wouldn't put a lid on it. I mean, like it's enclosed. I would on that bed.
Okay. But if you were laying a baby in there, how would you say that? Say, I'm laying my bed in the crib.
Mvskoke, open Opunvkv.
Oh, okay. So you would that. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Joe, what was the verb you used?
Opunvkv.
Hobby Jess.
What gives it up?
Opunvkv. Yeah.
Oh, Wuggy Jess. Okay, I'm hearing you.
It's waki. It's taken from waki to
Oh,
lay.
to cause to lay down, or that it's using that that age in there. I see. That's nice. Mado for the knowledge. And it was Ohkaga. I know we've been away from it for a minute, but Jana Hokolet Daklegin Ohkagiros. Those two flies are sitting on top of the bread.
Can we ask Ella? Ella, how would you say that? Like if you were laying the baby down in a crib?
Dobar Wagijas. Did you hear me?
Mado.
Without saying baby, I would just say Doban Wagij Stoas or Wagijas.
Wagijes.
Or if you wanted to say Doban Wagijahanes, I'm going to lay him down.
That I don't lay many things to bed. That is outside of my vocabulary, but it kind of locked in that age. I had another light bulb moment with that age, which helps me understand. All right, this man is leaning against a wall. He was leaning against a wall. Wall. Estoy magachidua wall. Do y'all say choga hospa or just hospa? Ella and Joe.
My vocabulary is lacking today.
Well, whatever comes to mind, we'll definitely take.
Okay.
Is there any word that immediately comes to mind for a wall for you, Joe? Like, yeah.
Not really. I was trying to think how I've heard it, but I don't really recall having ever heard that.
So I found two options. I didn't look in the Lethbridge dictionary. I don't have my copy around, but I saw. That's not right. Spa. But it said that the hospa is kind of by itself the more common. Saying chugo hospa, they said, is a little older. But now that we have that word for wall, how would we? Who can I pick on?
I'm not sure, but something like Jogon Ahuidi Dos.
Yeah, that is exactly where I was going with it. Honanwat chugo hospa ahuethlidos or just ahuethes. But I prefer that ahuethlidos.
Ahuides. Or just say Ahuidis. Jogon Ahuidis.
Yeah.
Without saying Ahuidi Dos. Yeah.
Oh. A book up, OJ.
Yeah.
Would there be a way you describe that picture saying he's leaning? And like how might you would you say like he's leaning on the house?
To lean.
Or leaning inside the house?
How do y'all say to lean? No, that's clean.
I think that beginning sound, Ahuidi Dos, that sound at the beginning is what gives you the thing that you're leaning against something.
But is there a way to use? I see Junigi. I see this. I see. Let me write it out. A couple options for leaning in the dictionary. Is there any way you could use that one? Or would you use Junigi to describe a person?
Is it that meaning you're kneeling?
Ooh. The
Kind of like you're almost squatting, but your back is against the wall?
The definition I'm seeing is leaning or slanted or having the head down like chin to chest. But is there a way you can think to say, like Tad was saying, he's leaning inside the house or leaning against the wall, or would you just use that ahuethis?
Ahuidis, That's all I've ever heard.
I see Randy used achayada. Would achayas work as well?
I don't know. I mean, that when I looked in the dictionary, that looked like the best fit.
No,
Achayuda, but I don't know if Joe or Ella
that's
heard
the
that
call.
one.
I mean, in the dictionary, that's the causative one. That's to take something and lean it against something is what it reads.
Okay,
Well,
right.
but you're looking at a man doing this. My thinking is not, and my thinking is not good tonight either. This is how come I usually don't come to class in the evening because I'm tired. But anyway, how can you say, long time ago, I used to, the guys I went to school with, they would be leaning against the wall, but they had their foot up close to their knee, leaning like that. And so I know like I said, I'm tired. uh, and I'm still thinking that this letter that this word that you just wrote, it sounds more like something you would say if you were needling. Joe, still in my
Yeah.
needling.
Aliziknik. Aliziknik. Is an old word, but it's almost something. It's something. It almost denotes something leaning against the wall. Aliziknik, but I've heard it used as somebody leaning against the wall.
Well, like, sometimes they'd be outside, like my grandma, she used to sweep the yard, and she'd go out and sweep the yard, and she would leave the broom not laying, but leaning against the wall. You should go inside and come back out and continue, but she never took that broom inside because it was dirty. It had dirt on it, and she didn't want to get the dirt in the house. But anyway,
I found a dictionary definition. Chiniki, stooped, leaning over.
Yeah,
That would be like in a squat. It's a positional thing.
I think that's the one that Ella was hearing.
I
Yeah.
think so too. Yeah.
I don't know that there's anything really that pertains to a person leaning against the wall. Yeah, a jayida is more like a ladder or something like that, or a broom or maybe a hoe or a shovel leaning against the wall.
yeah,
Okay.
Is that the same for a chagida?
Yeah. Akchagida is Akchagida is like a ladder leaning against the wall.
Okay. So the ahwith, or using that with with it feel is more natural for talking about a person. All those other words would be more for items.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Objects.
Mado.
I don't know if this means anything to y'all, but we weren't allowed to lean on the wall in our home.
I didn't have that.
I know it's kind of weird, but we weren't allowed to lean on the wall.
I know. I had that rule in in certain it isn't comparable. It isn't comparable, but like in our gym classes in elementary school and middle school and even in high school, we weren't allowed to lean against stuff. We had to be standing up. They never liked that. All right. This
Yeah.
video's not playing, but if you can imagine that tree that's kind of diagonal across, it's a video of it falling in the forest there. And I'll start it out.
And see, just like Joe was saying, we weren't allowed to lean. I don't ever remember going outside and leaning against the wall. And we had, we had a porch, and with just one pole, or what you call it, to hold up the roof, and we weren't even allowed to, put our arms around it, things like that. And so, but I think those are cultural things, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of things that, we weren't allowed to do.
Our dad would not let us speak when he was in company, even with family. he would wait until they were through talking to each other, and then they would allow us to speak. But we didn't speak during their conversation.
We were always told to go outside and play.
I have a question about, like, how do you feel about leaning some like that guy in that picture? Would you think he was impolite or rude or anything? And if you do, what word would you use to describe that about him?
We were always said that they were lazy.
Exactly. I was just thinking that, Joe. And I hated to, suggest it, because I wasn't sure, but yeah, that's what they used to say.
Ishti hopefully.
Inhothi.
Inhothi.
Inhothidos.
Maishti inhothidos.
Mm-hmm. Onanma inhothidos.
I think it's, I've seen stuff online about how Americans are pretty unique in that most Americans lean against stuff, and it's one of those identifiers. And when I taught, I would always lean against my desk like this, and they had something. The teachers I worked with had something similar to say to that looks lazy.
Yeah. That was prominent in our younger days in school.
When I went to school in Stone Age, we always had something to do when we went outside. So we were either playing volleyball or basketball or something, because we had those activities, on the playground. And if we weren't doing that, we were playing, tag or, hiding from each other, things like that. But we just didn't stand and lean against the wall. And another one too is that my grandma said, "Hook again in Bonaire ya that know what." Jogun, let's see, awide agidundos.
They don't lean against the.
They do when they want to talk to girls.
Oh. Let's see. Wow. Thank you all. Back to our prefixes here. Like you'll have to use a little imagination to imagine it falling. But what prefix would we attach to our lakira? I wouldn't use because it's fallen to the ground. To the ground. I would use that dock.
It's where you would use Lizikni, which is.
I caught the end of that. I heard the Lisigni,
but not.
Haramakto.
It's standing, but it's leaning on Lisigni, which is.
Ooh, like
even though you're talking about a tree, it's still standing, but Lisigni.
Right.
Like that one that's.
We use that Lisigni.
See, like that one that's the tree that's in the middle, and you see how that one is leaning?
Yeah.
Where this one looks more like it's falling.
In the video, it falls completely to the ground. It's just when I exported this, it did not export the video. But I see what you're both. I like Tad marking the two trees y'all may be talking about, using the Lesikni for that middle one.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was going for with this one was dak latgeros. Iro mahi dak latgeros. Would y'all use that as speakers? Would you use the dak attached to the leptida and say dak latgus, like falling to the ground?
When it's-
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
The question is like when it's in motion, you mean?
Yeah, like as it's falling, would it feel natural to say dak latgeros, or would you not use dak because it isn't yet at the ground?
Well, it's going to the ground, so you could use ducklat, kiddos, or ducklat behind us.
It's good. Yeah, it's gonna fall.
Yeah.
I used idomahi, paltry, daklatgeros, falling to the ground.
Mhm.
All right. Ooh, do I have the? There we go. Meadow. We have some. Ooh, I want to ask: were y'all allowed to ever jump on the bed, or did y'all do that in your youth? I can say I was not allowed to jump on the bed. That was a rule for my household as well. We were only allowed to jump on hotel bedrooms or hotel beds.
We weren't allowed to jump on it, but we did, and we got away with it, I guess.
How would you say that we got away with it? We got away with it.
Well, they didn't catch us, so we didn't get punished.
Well, I have on the left, I think we can all identify girl jumping on the bed.
Well, Johnny,
Yes.
let me share with you. Talking about this girl on her bed, we really didn't have a whole lot of room, so wherever I was sleeping, I wasn't allowed to go back to that area. So if I wanted to sit and read a book, I had to go outside and sit under the tree and read my book. And absolutely, I wasn't allowed to go back to the bed because they didn't want us laying down and going back to sleep. And so as long as it was daylight, we were up and going, doing something, or else, like I said, I'd have library books that I would check out from school. And so I'd take them outside and I'd read them, rereading my library books. And then, because that was the other thing I, was allowed to do, but I couldn't go back to my room or go back to where my bed is. Because my bed, I didn't really have a bedroom. And so anyway, I was, told to go outside and stay away from my bed.
They were pretty utilitarian. The bed is for sleeping, not for playing, not for any of this other stuff.
Right. Uh-huh.
I see. Well, any of you second language learners able to say the girl is jumping on the bed? Bed. Bed. Toba. What the heck? And to jump is daskira. So, Sandra, mic doesn't work. Should work in. Ooh. Well, Lacey, I see the camera. Down to try with a little help, putting the sentence together, or you start and I'll pick up the rest. Girl, estoy magachidoa. Girl, Walisi.
Yeah. Silent. Silent. I'm not sure about girl.
Okay. Girl is Hopti. I'm gonna use
Oh.
Hoptuji because it's a young girl. Hoptuji. Okay, so and then the object goes second. So what should follow?
Doba.
Doba, and I'm gonna stick an N on there, Doban. And then our word for to jump is daskida. Daskida. So what prefix would you stick onto that?
Das. O.
Exactly. O, dask, and then how do you think it should end? What sound should go on the end? Should it be long E, short E, not an E at all, although it's an E?
E.
It is
E.
short E. So you could say,
Along.
what was that?
Is it long E?
It's a short E.
Short E. Oh.
Short E. Comes out like an is. Is. Before I let you go, though, can I?
Caucus.
Oh, yeah. Could you read the whole thing all together?
Hoktaji Doban Otakis.
You missed one letter. Odaskis.
Odaskis. Oh.
You got it. So
Odaskis.
here's Mahi and Mado for putting that together.
Mado for your help.
Johnny,
Yes, ma'am.
wouldn't that though, let's see, Okdaskus have a more of a K sound?
Odaskis.
Okdaskus, right, Joe? Doban Okdaskidos.
Yeah, I might not have pronounced as clear.
You're saying like an O Daskus, but I've always heard Ok Daskus.
No, that you're absolutely right. There are a lot of dialects that say ok instead of oh. It's a variant. It's a really common other way to say the same thing.
And that Hoktoji, because I didn't grow up here in Oklahoma, I didn't get to see the language written. And so I would see people that were supposedly, spelling the words correctly. They would always spell it T-I-G-E-E.
T-I-G-E-E?
H-O-K-T-I, Hokti. And then
Oh!
G.
Yeah.
T-I-G-E-E.
They were kind of sticking English letters in there and mixing up the spelling.
Nice. And that's how come for the longest time. And it was early 1960, I guess. This one lady told me that because I didn't know how to spell Kalani, I just always spelled, K-A-L-A-N-E is the way I would spell it. And but when we went to Los Angeles, this lady was telling me that it was C-A-L-A-N-I-E. And so, those were variations of how they thought that my name should be spelled. And then later on, I saw that the Hawaiians spell it K-A-L-A-N-I. And same sound of words, but, just the spelling was different.
Yeah, that'd be something strange, though, to have someone tell you how you should spell your name.
But then nobody ever told me. I just thought maybe this is how you would. I was just using English letters because that's all I knew. And,
Jahojivka, Stajari Hojivka. This is how how I spelled my name for the longest time because I didn't know how to spell Mvskoke either. So I would.
Where are you going with your writing? I don't see it.
Yeah, no, it's every time I try to start it, it skips to another slide. I've done something to this computer in a past life. But I would spell my name this way. And I bet you could guess what my name is. Any guesses out there? What's my name?
Well,
Huh?
I see the Miko.
Yeah. Any guesses before I write it out?
I thought you were saying Josie.
I was trying to
Oh,
say Josh Miko. Ichash Miko. Ichashwa. Ichashwalgi Amalegidaros. I'm Beaver Clan, and my great grandfather, when I was born, gave me the name Ichash Miko. But no one ever taught me how to read or write. So I would write out this long mess. Yeah. Ichash Miko. Jahodjifgaros. Johnny's only my name for the government. All right. Our picture on the right, we have a dog running through some water, just to see if we can identify the correct prefix. How should this sound? You know what? Josie, I know you told us your name. Is it Christy? Never mind. I don't need to know your real name. I'm going to go by the alias. Do you know the word for to run?
Lekida?
Litkida. You got it.
Okay.
That's perfect. All right. Now that I know you know that word. I know you can say this sentence. The dog is running through, or the dog is running in the water. To the best of your ability, how would you say it?
Effa ak legedis.
You had all the sounds there.
Effa.
You got it. Ifa.
Effin.
I'm going to throw in an O one.
Okay.
Water. O one. And then ak.
Ak. Lekida. Lekidos.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Or ak lekiros.
Lekidos. Oh, one.
And I drift between writing dos as a full thing separate from the verb and keeping the T attached. And don't take any meaning from that than there is. It's just me going between the different conventions. It doesn't change anything.
Okay.
All right. We have here boy leaning against a tree. I know we spent a lot of time on that Opunvkv, so I have a feeling we remember the Opunvkv. But for our newer learners, I'll pick on Stephen. How would we say the boy is standing against the tree?
I would start off Javon, middle. I don't remember about the standing part.
The to stand.
Against would be
Yeah.
prefix.
And to stand is huithida.
I'll take a stab at it though. Oithidos.
Exactly. Huithidos. Chaban. Don. Huithidos. All right. What was that? No, I see. All right, onto our sleeping elephant here. How do we describe our baby elephant here as down on the ground sleeping? Or just laying down. He may be faking. He's smart. Right? Is elephant one of our words we haven't picked up? We have Yubo Luwagi. Yes, Randy.
Yubulo waguji taknojis.
That's exactly it. Yubo Luwagi and Daknojis. Now, as I was putting this together, I thought, for you speakers, when something is sleeping, like if a horse is sleeping on the ground, or as you see this elephant, would you stick that doc on there and say Daknojis, or would you just say Nojis?
Yubo-waguji nojitos.
Nojitos. Okay. So you wouldn't necessarily, would it feel unnatural to stick the doc on there and say Daknojitos?
No, I don't use that.
Okay.
You could say takwakis.
But somebody sitting in their house, daklegidos. If you're talking about, if somebody comes to the house and said, is grandma here? And said, yeah, daklegidos. She's sitting here.
I liked Tad's example of dakwag like sticking the doc on the previous verb, but it's not the penultimate verb. It doesn't have that S on there. So you can see it's still down laying on the ground, sleeping. That's a really good example. Meadow. All right. There we go. So other than the prefixes, we have other ways of establishing where something is happening. And these are those locative nouns. From the top, I stuck an in on them. The in isn't a part of it necessarily. It's just how we're using it today. It's always going to end up having the in. But up from the top, we have onaba or onaban. So onaba on top, lejan under, dimbin for near, yoban for behind, yoba, homa for in front, ofan for inside, and idinthawan for between. I'll give you a second to take those down. Onaban, lejan, dimbin, yoban, homan, ofan, idinthawan. Again, you could say onaba, leja, dimbi, yoba, homa, ofa, idinthawan. Well, I don't know about the idinthawan. I misspelled the idinthawan. Don't write that as it is. Oh, Mvskoke spell check yet. 3, 2, 1.
What is that last one? I'm sorry.
Idinthawan is between. Well, is there a word that you and your family used for between?
Nathgaba.
Also in the middle of?
Uh-huh.
I see. There's an example I might jump to. We might not have enough time, but I want to see what y'all as speakers say.
Let me give you an example. That top one, you're saying on top. When we go down 69 highway from Mvskoke to Eufaula, when we would be going back and forth, there's a town there called Onapa.
Napa, yeah.
But then my mom was telling me one day, and I said that when I was learning to read, she said, You don't say it like that. Onaba dos. Onaba. Let me finish this one down here.
What was that last part?
I said, let me finish writing this last word, rather.
And there's supposed to be an right? Oh, I spell it. It's supposed to be it in the one.
Oh, it has that V in there.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a V between the W and the N.
Oh, okay. Mahidejadis.
All right, so I have the example in English just to give your minds an idea of where to start. But we have a cake and it's on top of the table. We're probably not going to use that O. Well, we'll use the O for table. But I'll scroll down to the bottom. It in the one, yeah. That's the proper spelling. No. But I want to get to the other one, so I'll go through these a little quicker because there's one I want to get to in particular. Daklek jumba o humbida o naban o jeros. O jeros. Daklek, we have our talking about bread. Jumba is meaning sweet. So we're talking about that sweet bread or the cake. Humbida, to eat. And like I said earlier, o humbida. We got that prefix in front of it, but we're not talking about the verb though. We're talking about the noun of the table. So ohambira is the thing you eat on. Ohambira. And then we have our onaban. So the cake is on top of the table. But then we have this oj, which is something that really confused me. There are different ways to refer to a thing being existing in a space. Depending on the size of it, how easily it's moved, whether it seems like it's standing or laying. There's a few different ways to say is kind of what I'm saying. So while ojida does mean to have, you can say iskida jarin ojes. I have a red drink, ojes. But in this instance with that ojida, it's acting like is. So daklek jumba o hambira o naban o jeros. There is a table, or there is a cake on the table, on top of the table. All right, this is the one that I thought was interesting. So in this instance, we have a road between the trees. And before I give my example, I'd like to hear how y'all as speakers, Ella and Joe, if you were going to say the road is between the trees, how would you say that?
I've heard it say something like Ido Nathkaban. I'm losing my words. Nini Huyani dos.
Like passing in the middle of the trees? Is that what? Okay.
Or runs between the trees. The road runs between the trees.
Could you say that one more time?
Am I saying it right, Joe? Ido Nathkaban Nini Huyani dos.
I like that one. It's different from I went to Miss Carolyn to help me with it.
Joe, you're muted.
Oh. Maybe I can unmute him. Where'd he go?
Oh, okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hello, hello. Okay, ito in Naskaban. Now, let's see, hang on. Ito in Naskaban, nini wakidos. And that's how we would say it. I mean, that's how we would say it. But,
I've heard it like that too.
yeah, but that's, there's different ways you can say that. When there's a song, it's a Christian song, it says Jesus laid the road down for us. Uh, Jesus, let's see, how does it go? Jesus nini wagi jadis. So he laid down that road, so we can still use that walk it,
Yeah,
nini
it's
waki dos.
Mhm.
Yeah, wagi jada orgies, but technically it's not correct. but
But have
it's
you
kind of
heard
like
it?
that.
Bill?
Oh, yeah, I've heard it both ways. Yeah.
I mean, have you heard this one though? That I said, when I said, ito, naskaban nini huyani dos.
Uh huh. Yeah, but we would have said Edo Edin Naskaba because you're using two rows of trees. Edin Naskaba. When you say Edo Naskaba, it means in the middle of the tree. Yeah. So Edin Naskaba would actually be more correct. But well, I've heard it the way you said it, lots of times. We don't think about the technical aspects of things a lot of times, but
We don't proper Muskogee. We just say it.
yeah, yeah,
Can we describe a road as going somewhere? Like a road, would you say ish? Like if it goes to
yeah.
someplace?
And we've heard it that way too. They didn't talk about Ayers, Nini, Ayers, road is going between two rows of trees.
And see, and I think that's almost kind of like huyani dos. It goes by.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Mado for that. It's funny. I was confused on whether to use or what word to use for the is. I used legados, but I thought, well, legados doesn't feel right at all. So I went to a speaker, and this is how she helped me say it. But I like seeing these other options. I can definitely see the sense in irin nakkaban nini wakiros. The order of that does make a lot of sense. I like that one. Well, does anyone have any questions? Especially while we've got speakers with really good internet connections tonight.
Is mine coming? Is mine doing good then tonight?
Oh, yours is great. Tonight's been really fantastic for internet
Oh,
connection.
Mado.
No, Mado to you. Mado G Gauges.
Mado to everybody. Been very good.
Yeah, I really like the use of hoyanit because it kind of gives the sense of motion or something.
Yeah.
Ehe.
I'm gonna steal it.
Yeah, it is a better word to use. Yeah. You could feel the motion like you're going down that road.
Right. And so much of
But
Mvskoke
I
is
do want
about those
Kako
verbs.
Oklegi. We're saying on the horse, but if we say, oh, well, it's not. He's not on the horse, but he's above the horse or near the horse. So that's where we distinguish ok and o.
Oh,
Hombre, we eat on that table, but we don't sit on that table.
so
So it's questionable a lot on how we use that oh and oak.
yeah. That's really good to know. I'm gonna ask around on the, because I've always heard it as like, oh, well, that's a variation, that's a dialect difference. But you're saying there's a difference in meaning, being on top versus just above.
Yeah, yeah. Just above or being on top of it, sitting on top of it, or your presence is on top of that, whatever it is.
Right.
Oh, you own it.
And you, just like you were saying, the cake is on the table. I've heard it a little bit different, but I can't, you know, my speaking skills are not up doing good tonight. So when I remember that other way that I would say it, I'll let you know.
Okay, well,
But
I'm thinking.
like the cake is on the table. You know, sometimes you don't even need to say on top of the table either. You can just say it's on the table.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and the other one I wanted to say a little bit something about is on the F, the letter F. If it's surrounded by vowels, it takes more of the V sound. So ifa is not actually ifa, it's iva. And if you listen real close to the fluent speakers, the older ones, you will hear that iva. You will hear them say iva. Yeah, that's it's changing because I don't hardly hear the iva among younger speakers anymore. I hear the ifa. But if you listen to the elders, it will be iva.
My father-in-law,
That's all I have to say.
my father-in-law wanted to learn how to say dog in Creek, and I taught him that. And so he had a friend come to visit, and so my father-in-law was calling his dog, and he was saying Eva, Eva, you know, and because he's calling him, and he said, so the visitor says, "Do you know what you're calling your dog?" And he said, "Yes." And he said, "You're just calling him dog." And he said, "That's what I wanted. That's why I asked my daughter-in-law to teach me how to say it." And so he used to say it like that, Eva.
I think that's a cultural thing because I know a lot of Stajati people, especially older ones, who they just refer to the animal in the house as the name of they call it cat or dog. I've grown up always hearing that. One of the phrases I've always grown up hearing is "You smell like dog." I smell like dog. But yeah, they would always refer to dog as dog and cat as cat. It's funny.
And my family calls our dog Black. They just call him Lusty, you know, and instead of giving him a fancy name. Anyway, but I'm glad I was able to help tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for coming. Excited for tomorrow's class at noon is going to be about more sentence connectors. Eli will typically, yeah, with Eli.
Okay.
Yeah, so hope to see y'all tomorrow. Chihid, y'all.